I'm going to go over 3 reasons why smart people pleasers have so little time and energy. And if this is you, go ahead and look at your life and see if these things match up with what you are experiencing. Okay? The first reason that people pleasers tend to have so little time and energy is that they tend to say yes when they really would do well to say no to things. Consider Dave, who has agreed to be in a search committee, and this committee meets once a month. Turns out to be for 3 hours by the time he takes off and gets back, and it's about a 2-hour meeting, and it's for 1 year, and it's for his church is looking for a new pastor, and this is the commitment. So he agrees to do this. He likes the person on the board who asked him, and he notices, however, he's in month 3, month 4, and what's happening at these meetings is that the group is more interested in just kind of shooting from the hip. There's no real process. They talk about just kind of their gut reaction, and Dave was really hoping for a thoughtful dialogue that was really well thought out on each person's part. So he gets to this month 3, month 4, and he starts to admit to himself, I don't like this, and I never really wanted to be on this committee in the first place. And when he gets to that point, he can admit even further that it's because he liked the person on the board who asked him, and he wanted to want to be on this committee, but when he's really honest about it, he doesn't want to be. Another example is Sophia. She's in a book group that has the opportunity where you can meet monthly, or you can really commit to go as much or as little as you want. She's been going monthly for the past several months, finds it to be a little overstimulating, and she finds that she's not enjoying some of the people there. So she decides that twice a year, maybe 3 times a year is much more her speed. So that's what she decides. And then one of the people from the group says, hey, you coming next month? And she finds herself saying, yeah, I'll see you then. There's another example where she decided, but then as soon as somebody asked, she backtracked. In these 2 examples, you can see something that's really common with people pleasers, is they will be rather passive with their time or too flexible with it. Where, like you saw with Dave, he just committed too quickly to something that was a pretty hefty commitment. And he did this, why? Because he liked the guy who asked him. Okay. And then you saw with Sophia where she actually did the work of thinking it through, but when it came down to somebody asking her about, like, are we going to see you next week or next month rather, then she couldn't quite hold on to her decision. And that's common for people pleasers, letting other people make their decisions and choices for them rather than making their own decisions and sticking by them. And you can see in each of those examples where both Dave and Sophia got a twofer there with time and energy that's now getting drained. Second reason that smart people pleasers often have so little time and energy is because they are so frequently in a draining relationship, a major relationship in their life that's draining, or they have several draining relationships. Take, for example, Carol. She's got 2 adult children, a son and a daughter. They are consistently unappreciative of her, don't want to spend a lot of time with her, except when they want something. So when they want to buy something, which really translates to Carol buying it for them, they'll ask her if she wants to go shopping with them at Walmart or go clothes shopping or go out to eat. And each of these times, like clockwork, she will pick up the tab. That's just the way she's always done it. That's the way it's always been. Okay, so it doesn't take a lot to see these are draining relationships, even though they're family relationships, and her children, she can't get rid of them, and nor does she want to. But you can see where this is draining of her time and energy, and for her, also her money. Consider Rob and Julie. They've been married 7 years, and they have a pretty tense, rocky relationship. Julie is frequently irritated or angry. And what she says is the reason for her irritation oftentimes comes down to, Rob, if you only did fill in the blank, then I'd be happy in this marriage. Well, Rob has run the gamut of about a half dozen things that she has said, if you only come home straight from work rather than going out with the guys after work, then I'll be happy. So he did that. It was an easy thing for him to change. He did it, but she still wasn't happy. And then she said, well, if only you would spend more time doing housework and with the kids on the weekend. So he did that. Still wasn't happy. And that was the thing where it was, there was this, the way she presented it was, if he just did this, that's all there was, and then she'd be happy. So Rob is kind of gradually realizing that she's not happy with each of these things he changes, and how many changes does he need to make? And really the bigger question, will she ever be happy? And does it really have anything to do with him? Okay. So now we're on to the third reason that smart people pleasers have so little time and energy. And that is because they oftentimes spend time doing other people's work. Consider Leo. He is a 20-something-year-old guy, and he works as a nurse during the regular work week. And then on the weekends, he takes care of his parents' shop. It's just him at the shop then, their little store, on Saturday and part of Sunday. So he's super busy. He doesn't have a lot of time anyway. But now he also does the store on the weekend. And he finds that what he'd really like in life is to be able to hang out with his friends more and spend time with them. But he can't because he's got this extra job on top of things. And he notices that his parents never thank him, and he mans the store, and then he also does the bookkeeping and cleans when he's there on the weekend. So he's just really working a lot for his parents. Another example of doing other people's work is Samantha. Samantha has a master's degree, and she's in a job where she supervises 9 people. She's super busy and she has a really great life. She loves it. And she periodically, however, will get a call from her mother whenever her mother is hosting company at her house. So this typically happens at the last minute, either the day of or the day before. And all of a sudden, her life is turned upside down because she's got to do all of the planning and prepping and cooking for her mother. Okay, so another example, Alicia and Dan live together. They both work full time. Yet, Alicia does, on top of her full-time job, she does all of the housework, including all of the food prep, cooking, cleaning. She schedules all appointments. She takes care of the lawn. She takes care of the kids, whether it's, chauffeuring them around, or whether it's their appointments or disciplining, or just kind of keeping the kids motivated and staying on task with what they need to do for their schoolwork. That's all Alicia. And this is the way it's always been. Alicia and Dan have always just had this dynamic in their relationship where it's really kind of one way. When Dan is at home, really the household revolves around him, what he wants to do, what his moods are, that sort of thing. Now, in each of these examples, even though doing other people's work is a drain on the person's time and energy, they find themselves doing it because they're holding out hope for that little morsel of appreciation, the little crumb that comes every now and then of being appreciated or being lauded or even praised in front of other people. And that little crumb, when they get it, keeps them going. People pleasers oftentimes have a mentality that whether they are cognizant of it or not, it's there. And this mentality is, I'll give till I'm bled dry. I can give and give and give, and basically I'd have to be dead to not keep giving. And this sets them up for a lot of one-way relationships where they are entirely giving or giving the most, and they're receiving very little. And a normal, healthy relationship is one that's reciprocal. Both parties are giving, neither are keeping track of it, but there's a give and take on both sides. And because oftentimes the person sees it as a good thing. I'm a giver. But it sets them up for narcissists, manipulators, takers, addictive personalities to really zero in on them and target them, whether either party is aware of that or not, and sets them up for some bad relationships in which they are just giving till they're bled dry. One of the core things that is propelling the people pleaser to do and say the things that they do, especially in overcommitting, is the desire to be liked. That is really just like right at the core of everything, is this strong desire to be liked. And that's why they'll oftentimes put up with stuff from people that really oughtn't be put up with. That's why they oftentimes won't say no, when really they do better to say no. That's why they don't cut things off that just really are not good in their lives. So that desire to be liked can really drive them in directions and into relationships and staying in relationships that just aren't good for them. And that desire can oftentimes lead to other mentalities like, I can love enough for the both of us, right? Talk about a one-way relationship, loving enough for the both of you. That's not good. Or it's okay that I keep giving. This person is just fill in the blank, right? And if this has gone on for a long period of time, it's just not okay. Okay, so those are 3 reasons why smart people pleasers oftentimes do not have the time or energy that they wish they did. And if you are a people pleaser, which if you're watching this, I suspect that you might be, this is something to just kind of go over in your mind and look at those 3 examples and do kind of a test for yourself. How am I doing in each of these 3 areas? How do I do with saying no when I really don't want to do something? How do I do with, or how are my relationships? Am I spending a lot of time with one person or some people who are real Drainos in my life? Or am I doing other people's work for them? Do I tend to have these imbalances where if I'm working together with somebody on something, I'm the one doing all the work? And of course, if you are wanting to be done with this cycle of having so little time and energy that's due to people-pleasing tendencies, there are ways to remedy this. It just requires having the right skills and the right practice of those skills, but that's a topic for another time. Okay, that's what I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to get more info or tips or tricks or strategies on personal development or people pleasing in specific, head on over to selfdevlab.com. That's selfdevlab, short for self-development lab.com. Thank you for watching today. Take care.